Hey everybody, what's going on? Hope you guys are doing good. It's been a little while. So I ended up selling my Gibson Blueberry Burst, and the new owner has got a little bit of an issue going on to where he's hearing a lot of buzzing sound even on the clean channel of his amps, and when he touches the strings that goes away. So he sent me a video, and here's the video. Alright, my friend, here is your Gibson, and I have it sitting on the bench right now. Now, one thing that I noticed were all of the dip switches that were in the back, see on the card over here, they're all in the on position. On the guitar itself, they were all, turn this thing around, all in the off position, but now they are in the on position, if this would focus. And yeah, so I'll kind of show you what off looks like. So if I push them all down, get the focus, that's all off. And I have these same CTS pots in this guitar, and we'll do a comparison with as far as noise goes. I gotta do a little bit of a cleaning on this thing. Alright, so I'm gonna flip this over, and right now everything is pushed down. Volumes are all up and tone is up. Three-way switches in the center. I'm using a Katana 50 watter, and right now I'm going to set it on clean. Turn my master up. This is where my volume is set. I got the master set to middle, and it's set for 50. Flip it on right now. Alright, so now it's on. I'm going to turn my volume up. You kind of hear a little bit of noise, not much. I put my hand on top of it, but it's not loud. That's what all the dip switches down. Now, usually what I do with my amps is I'll turn the volume at a certain, and then turn my master up. So, gives you just a little bit more oomph, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. And I'm also using a cheap patch cord. So I'm going to go ahead and flip these switches. And you can hear a difference when they're on and when they're off. The guitar is a little bit more brighter when they're on. Fix this wire over here. Again, I'm not getting a lot of buzz. I'm right close to the amp. So if you pull the single coils out, well, you're going to get buzz. If you can hear that, that's the neck, that's the bridge. So you're going to get noise with that. So if I flip this to, say, lead or brown, so I got to turn my master down. I'll put it on crunch. I'll turn my master pretty close to where it was. It's probably going to be loud. You can hear a little buzz. But it's not a bad buzz. It could use, well, it can use a gate, that's for sure. Alright, so I'm going to put the phone down because I have to swap out to another guitar. Alright, so this is a guitar that I had made a long time ago, and as you can see, it's got CTS pots inside of it, the push and pull, same ones that are in your guitar. So let me flip this around. I've got Seymour Duncans, which these are pretty hot pickups. They're not, they're high outputs. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the amp on. Cycle on, put my master up, and if you could hear, put my hand over the strings, let go of the strings, I'm getting a little bit of a buzz. Now if I put this on clean, turn the master up a little bit more because it's quiet. Alright, so this also has coil splitting on it. That's the bridge, or the neck, I'm sorry. That's the bridge. So comparing the two together, they're basically putting out the same way. This has got higher outputs probably than the Gibson does. And I've got my Katana set pretty much the same way as I did the test on this one. I tested out with the meter and all the grounds are where they're supposed to be. There's no noise. The lighting inside of here are LED tubes. These are not fluorescents. I had to change them out because I was getting noise from the fluorescent lights in my amps or into the guitar to my amps, and that was causing me an issue, so I changed those out. Sometimes halogens will do the same thing, will give you some unwanted noise. I think you need a gate, a noise gate, and that'll take care of the issue. But as far as both guitars go, they're both working the same way. And I don't know what to say. Alright, so you would kind of think massive ground issue, right? That's what I was thinking as well. So I ended up taking my multimeter and putting it on continuity, touching here, 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 and here. Everything seemed to be grounded. It doesn't seem like there's that much of an issue. Now, for a guitar that's been singing in this case basically ever since I got it, and you guys have really never seen it in action. Otherwise, you know, if I was playing this thing, you'd see a video of it. So I was looking at this board, and one thing I noticed that, well, this board was sitting pretty much on the wood inside of here, and with the only exception of the space here, here, and here, which left a lot of the thread sticking up through this side of the body, making the little knobs stick up a lot away from the body. So there should be another nut on here, and this should be back down a little bit so it doesn't look like it's a sloppy job. But on further inspection on this, there are some solder joints that don't look very good. Like this one looks like really dry. Some of them look like there might be a little bit of a crack inside the solder, and the traces are okay as far as jumping from one pin to the other. But the problem with this is that, well, here's your ground from your bridge, and it's a push button, so you push it down here and your ground sits in there really nice. At least that's what it's supposed to. But even that feels a little like shitty. It doesn't feel very stiff. Now, I don't understand why they put a couple of LEDs over here, probably using them as resistors. But yeah, another thing that I found as well is absolutely no shielding whatsoever inside the control cavity. So that I'm going to end up working on first. I thought maybe that something was going on with the ground that is on the bridge. So I kind of tested that and turned this on its side, connecting to the wire of the bridge, and then connecting it to the bridge, and it goes straight to 0. No issues. So that's making a good connection. It's not like if it was broken or loose or something was going on with it, there would be a little bit of some numbers showing up over here that would indicate that it's not a solid wire, that there's a break in it someplace. But looking on the inside of here, and like I said, no shielding whatsoever. So I'm going to have to shield it, and first thing I want to do is blow it out really good so there's no dust inside of here. Even the cover plate over here, they put another sticker, the same thing, on the inside and one on the outside. Now, all of the pin switches that are on here, the dip switches, were all set to off, and I talked to the owner, and I believe he said that he switched them all to the down position, which is off. I switched them back to the on position. Now, what I want to do is I want to check out this ground here to make sure that this part here is actually making good connection on this side and giving it a good ground, plus all these solder joints that I'm looking at over here that look iffy. I want to re-hit them with some fresh solder and seal this thing up. So I want to go ahead and start that with this. Kind of move things around over here. And I don't have, now some people will use the copper tape, all right? And I'm not one who uses the copper. I ended up testing a little bit with the copper and with the metal tape that I use, which is also shielding tape for guitars, and really didn't notice too much of a difference as far as continuity goes. They pretty much are the same, even though copper is supposed to be more conductive than the metal tape that I use. I don't know. They seem to be about the same to me. And then I have the paint. Now the paint I'll use a lot of, but the owner said that he wanted to use the tape inside here, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to put some tape inside of here and get this thing pretty much nice and clean looking. Where is my little blower at? I'm going to get all the dust particles that are in here out. Now there's a nice braid on the wire for the ground for the output jack. Now this is something that I kind of want to take a look at over here, because it looks like they got a piece of wire here and they end up putting another piece of wire on here, and I want to take a look at that to make sure that that is okay. So let me get a small screwdriver, a jeweler's screwdriver, and take this off. Because what I want to do is make sure that it isn't an output jack problem that's causing this. Even though I am getting continuity, it is showing 0 as far as resistance goes for the continuity that I'm checking. But I just want to make sure that this is not going to be an issue either way. And as far as much money as they want for these guitars, I tell you, there is a lot of people that I didn't notice it before, but the owner kind of brought it up to me, or the new owner of this kind of brought it up to me, that there's a lot of people that are complaining that this guitar has a lot of noise issues. All right, so here we are. And now, so they have this as ground and the black wire. Let's see something here. This says out. Here's the output jack. This side of the output jack goes to a resistor, and that side of the output jack is the black wire. So I'm going to try something here, because something doesn't look right. And I'm kind of wondering, I don't know if it makes a difference, but if they have these wires reversed on the output jack, you know, maybe that could be an issue. So I'm going to go ahead and splice the shrink wrap off of here. And I've got plenty of shrink wrap to redo this. Let's see what they did on here. I can't see where I spliced it. Oh, there it is. All right, so the black wire is center, and the green wire is going to the ground. All right, you kind of see that? Green wire is on the ground, black wire is the center post. So black wire is the post right here, which goes to here. All right, and I take it that they use the other wire, the braid, and goes here, which I'm going to check how that is done as well. There's got to be a reason for this to be buzzing the way he showed it was buzzing. I am personally not getting that buzz on my amps. But, and I sent him a video and also comparing this guitar to another one of my Les Paul guitars as well, and still I wasn't getting any type of a buzz. So let's kind of check this out, see here. Alright, so here is the wire that is going to the output jack. Move that out of the way, a little bit of the shielding. And then here is the wire that is going to the switch. And there is no issue of output. This does seem to have the output. Alright, so the black wire is a positive. That would go right here. And that is going into that resistor there. From that resistor, it goes up over here to the LED. And let's see. So that's making sense. I mean, that's not wrong, it's right. It is right. So I will put some more heat shrinking tubing on that, fix that up. But I want to get this thing shielded, so let's get this thing shielded pretty quick. Alright, so that's a lot better than having no shielding tape at all in there. Alright, so let's get onto the board. Alright, so I changed my tip to a much smaller tip. I'll put some more light on this so I can kind of see what's going on over here. And what I want to do is retack a lot of these solder joints that are on here just to make them look a little bit better. Like this one here looks dry. This one here looks like it's got maybe a crack around it. So I just want to make these look a lot nicer. Put my shielding tape away. I don't need that anymore. Alright, this is up to par. Let's hit it with a little bit of solder. And what I also want to do is tack all of these just like you would if it was regular. Alright, so I got some more CTS pot nuts right over here, and what I want to do is set this thing inside here and measure how far these have to go in order for these to kind of look right on the other side of the body, and for this not to be sitting on top of the shielding tape. So now I want to check to see if anything has changed with numbers here, and if the shielding tape is connected to the ground at all. It's connected. That is connected to the output jack. So here's the ground on the output jack, and here is the shielding tape. Good. And that is the output jack and the shielding tape on the positive side. So that's showing me a reading. Now with no continuity. 0, 0, 0. The wire that I just put in, 0. Alright, so that ground wire probably isn't going to help all that much, but it's going to help. Check this output jack out. So here is the ground on the output jack. And that'll be green. That's good. The output jack on the positive side. That's good. Nothing here. Alright, so I put some heat shrink tubing back on here. Alright, we are shielded all the way around now. Put this cover back on. Now check with the meter again on the screws and on the ground. And this cavity is grounded. Alright, so I got the same amp, same settings. We're on clean. Here's the guitar. We're plugged in over here. Now the guitar is not in tune. I just kind of tightened up the strings a little bit. You know, it's better that you don't ship a guitar in tune because you can risk damaging or breaking the headstock. Amp is turned on. So that's the humbuckers. This here is the bridge coil split. Off. Now we'll go to the neck. Off. Three-way switch. Got bridge. Off. Neck. Alright, so let me turn the master down. Switch this over to crunch. Put the master back up. Still got a little bit of a buzz. Well, right now I'm getting a little bit of feedback from the strings. So my hand is on top of the strings right now. See? You can hear the buzz. My hand is off the strings right now. Starting to get a little feedback. Try to turn the amp away. I'm going to get a nice howling sound. So I turn it down. Put this on brown, which is supposed to be a high gain. Hearing the buzz. So give it a little bit of volume here. That's my hand off of it, not touching it. Put my hand on the strings. There's no difference between taking my hands off the strings and putting them on the strings. I'll switch this back to clean. I got the gain turned up. This is the volume. Everything is same. Or not the gain, but the master. Hand over the strings, no noise. Anytime you're using something with a little bit of crunch or gain or anything else, you're going to need a noise gate. And I know that from experience with guitars as well. Now he says that none of his guitars connected to his amp make any noise whatsoever. They're dead silent. I couldn't tell you enough. I turned the volume off on this. Yeah, dead silent, all right. So, I don't know. All I know is that I'm not getting... I have it on the humbucker for the bridge. Hands on the strings. That's the sound. Hand off the strings. That's the sound. This is neck. Hand off the strings. Hand on the strings. Same sound. So, I don't know. It's all shielded. I added more ground to it. And so I could touch the bridge. And it's not changing as I'm touching the bridge over here. Alright, so I know it's not really going to make too much of a difference, but I'm going to set the height of the pickups. See, this is really, really close. That's better. That's good. Check the other side over here. Yeah, that's way too close. A little bit more. That's better. Now check the bass side again because the angle will change. That's good. Change the treble side on the bridge. That's a little bit. Check the bass side. That's really close. Now when I got this guitar, I really didn't do too much to it. It really didn't need it. Action height was perfect. It was great. Okay, that's good. And I really didn't do too much with this thing. Just put it away, and that's where it ended up, was in its case and sat in its case. So now I'll check the bridge and the tailpiece height. So I should be able to put a piece of paper underneath here, and that's telling me that this is resting on the end of the bridge. Get on this side. Yeah, I don't want to slip. Oh, it's really resting on there. Yeah, it's still a little tight. Am I on the glue side? Yeah, I'm on the glue side. That's still a little tight. That's better. That's better. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay. So now I'm off of the end of the bridge. I don't know if that's going to make a difference or not. It probably isn't. It's just, you know, more of just a setup part. Put these knobs back on. Make sure these are on 10 because that's where they're supposed to be. There. Yeah, now they're not so close to where they were before. They were sticking up real high. And it just makes the guitar look cheap when they're not set up properly. Alright, so put this on here. Put this on here. Make sure they're all, numbers are kind of facing the same direction. Make sure nobody's rubbing. Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. Alright, so I don't know. I've got noise gates that I use on my guitars. I have some guitars that are a little bit noisier than others, and there's really nothing you could do exception of put a noise gate on them. It's just a characteristic of the guitar. But you know, I'll see what the owner says and what he wants to do, because after all, it is his purchase, and you know, to make somebody happy and they're not happy with what they got, then, you know, I don't know what else to do. But I do have to clean my fingerprints and hairs and everything else off of here, because this thing got really dirty and I need to clean it up really bad. It's a beautiful guitar. It's really nice. Pretty expensive. But what can I say? Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you guys want, leave a comment at the bottom. And yeah.